Thieves have always existed in all cultures, and the penalties for stealing have always been harsh. Throughout history, property owners have tried to protect their possessions using guards or some kind of locking mechanisms. For a long time, locks and keys not only provided protection, but also served as invaluable symbols of status or power.
People that are likely to be stolen from are people that are involved in conspicuous consumption. These are people who buy expensive things just to show off, so people are likely to steal from them.
Counterculture is a way of living that opposes the dominant culture. Taboo, a norm so strongly held by society that is a violation and brings extreme disgust. Inner controls, according to control theory, the thought process such as morality or conscience that reside within people and that can prevent them from committing acts of deviance.
A 43-year-old woman is accused of capitalizing on her physical attraction to meet victims through dating sites and steal their identities, Los Angeles officials said. She'd then move into high-end hotels and charge thousands of dollars worth of goods and services, officials said. She once tried to buy a car after assuming someone's identity, officials said. She also once transferred a victim's cell phone number to hers, detectives learned. Once she gleaned information about the victim's personal connections, she moved on to steal the identities of their relatives and friends, the sheriff's office said. Investigators later learned losses in that fraud case may be more than $250,000, the sheriff's office said. The number of alleged victims is not yet known.
Approximately 15 million United States residents have their identities stolen each year.
There is no typical person that is in identity theft. It could be anyone.
Have you ever had your identity stolen?
Yes. My sister's car was broken into in December, and she had an old copy, because she was moving, an old copy of a temporary ID I had in her car. So the person took all of the paperwork from the glove compartment, including my ID, hers, and it took a couple weeks, but when the cops pulled this guy over for a random traffic stop, they found our stuff in his back seat, and he had already started to wipe out our pictures so that they could be replaced with other information.
Wow. Did you think it would happen to you?
No, because I don't really have like the credit or identity that anybody wants. People only steal from like rich people, so I'm sure he would have been disappointed in the end. But I guess we were just easy targets because all of the paperwork was in one spot.
Did he steal anything while he had your identity?
No, but I did get calls from 2 collection agencies. So I think this might have happened before this guy actually stole our stuff. So 2 collection agencies have called me about repayment on a loan that I never took out. So they're both online loans, and the collection agencies knew just enough about my background. So like where I had a car loan out, my first car loan. Who I bank with, and they knew just enough that if I would have kept following it, like following through with the questions, I think they could have gotten much more information, but I knew I didn't take out the loan. So they were questioning me. They were actually pretty like aggressive in trying to collect this. And I was like, I've never taken a loan out. And because this other guy had stolen our identity, we already have a case file open with the state attorney general. So I just say, okay, give me your name and your number, and the state attorney general wants to collect all this information because they're building a case against this other guy. So as soon as I say that, the collection company stopped calling.
Wow.
Like, it's actually been really easy.
Do you have any advice or how to prevent getting your identity stolen?
Well, it might be cliche because there's a lot of commercials for it, for like Credit Karma or Check Your Credit Report, Lifelong. And I never really think that any of that really matters to me. But because I do check those things all the time, and I know what my score is and who I owe money to, I'm able to stay on top of these things. So when somebody says I owe money, I know because I've just seen my credit report that I don't really owe anything. I think what would have been really scary is if that man or anybody else steals the identity of an older person or someone who's not as savvy. So when a collection agency calls and they say, hey, you owe us money, likely that person will be like, oh, I guess I do. I guess I do owe you, let me pay you. But I'm really stingy. I'm like, I'm not paying anybody unless you prove that money really belongs to you. So for me, it hasn't been that big of a deal. State Attorney General's office has been great. So they send us paperwork all the time, like every time there's an update in the case or whenever the person who did it, the person we believe did it, anything in his trial, they just send it to us in a message and they're like, if you want to add a victim statement to this, you can. So as they're building their case, they're keeping us involved. It's actually been a pretty easy thing.
Oh. Well, I think that's it. Thank you.